What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Utini Designs workshop. Today we are back in the garage and we are going to be using the xTool P2S to cut out some wood ornaments. Now, I know Christmas is over, but some people have belated Christmases with friends and stuff because family's usually reserved for Christmas time. So we actually have a neighbor that we're going to enjoy Christmas with next door, and I'm going to make some ornaments for their pets as gifts. So this is an example of what you can do with the P2S or S1 or D1 from xTool, or any CO2 or diode gantry style laser. Real quick, just to make a gift for a friend or family or for their pets. So without further ado, we're going to get into this. Now, what I've done is I've created this dog paw ornament with a couple snowflakes in it. So I have this available on our Patreon. So for those Patreon members that are commercial subscribers, you will get this file for free. Otherwise, it will be $5 to download and use the file. It is an SVG file, so you can bring it into xTool or any laser software. And I'm going to show you how we can quickly edit this. So we're in here in XCS, and I have my dog paw ornament here. Now, I usually size it to about 104 millimeters, which is roughly 4 inches. So what we're going to do is, let me make sure my screen is up so you can see it. Okay, good. All right. So what we're going to do is there's a couple different ways you can customize this. You can obviously, you can add a name to it, and whatever font you use, whether it's inside XCS or whether you use a font from your computer and create it in Illustrator or Affinity Designer or Inkscape, you want to make sure that the letters tie together. Now, as you can see, the letter D does not tie to the O, G, N, A, M, E. So there's a couple different ways you can adjust this. Obviously, you can adjust the kerning on it. You can squeeze it together if you like. So like here is the kerning. So -1 is too much. 0 is not enough. So let's go -0.05. See if it'll let us do that. That's still not enough. So let's go -0.07. And I don't think it took it. Okay, let's try -0.09. Getting closer. -0.098. Still not quite there, but just for the sake of argument, you want to get those as close as possible. Now, the other thing you can do is tie them into the side. So let me zoom in here, and you can see that I've now tied this D into the side of the ornament. Okay, so I'm just going to stretch this just ever so slightly, and now the D is tied to the side. The O's kind of hanging out here in space, but the G's tied in and the E is tied in. You want to make sure that all that's tied in, otherwise your name will fall through or be fragile. So another thing you can do is you can come in here with the pen tool, and we can just make a quick triangle there. And then we want to make sure that's set to engrave. So now we can tie those two letters together. Okay. And you can do it much more fancier than that. I just did that as an example. So I can come in here and I can edit these nodes if I wanted to. So let's go to edit and let's grab this node, pull it over, pull this over here, and let's add a node here. And let's drag this one down. And then we want to add a bend in here so it kind of follows the text. Okay. Then we're going to hit done. And now you can see that that follows that a little bit better. Now, obviously, you can play with that more if you want, but that just gives you a quick idea of how to put a name in there and how to connect it if, in fact, your connections aren't correct on the font. So another way to adjust this, we're going to get rid of that name, is to do a layer. So this could be the top layer, for instance. So we're just going to zoom out here, and I'm going to copy and paste this. And now we're going to drag this out. Now, normally you would want to do this out of two different types of material. So maybe a dark wood for the top, a light wood for the background, acrylic for the background, light wood for the top, vice versa, so on and so forth. So the way I've designed this paw, as you can see, there's all these points in here. Okay. You can edit each one of those if you want. But the easiest way to do this is to, if you want to make a back plate, something that'll go behind the layered cutout paw, is you want to come in here and you want to edit the compound path, and we're just going to select that. We're going to delete it. We're going to select that, delete it, delete these little pieces here. Oop. Let me grab this here. There. And what we're going to do is we're just making a back plate that will match our paw. Okay. So I'm just coming in here and I'm deleting these. So now we have a solid paw. Okay. So now when we cut out, we'll cut this paw, the full black paw as a back plate out of another piece of wood. And then we'll cut this paw out of another type of wood, and it'll make a layered effect. So then you can actually, instead of typing a name and having it cut a name, you can engrave a name inside this area, inside the blank paw area. So in here, if you have multiple dogs' names, you could have one in each paw engraved. There's several different ways that you can take this one graphic and make several different designs out of it. So that's what I was wanting to show you. So what we're going to do is we have this set up. I already have some names typed in here. Finnegan, which is my French Bulldog. And then the neighbor's dog's name is Mocha and Coco. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here with a close shot and make sure that we are on the wood for the design, which we are. You can see we're just barely on it, but that's okay. That's what we want. In fact, I'm going to move this down slightly because we're trying to use up as much wood area as possible. And now I'm going to come in here with a close shot on this side. And as you can see, we're right on the edge as well. So we should be good to go on these. Now I have set all these to cut. The reason that this is black on this particular section is because I have them set to engrave so I can see them easier. Okay. But when you set it to cut, it's just going to do the outline. Okay. So if I set both of these to cut, now you can see kind of what it's doing here. So we're going to go back to this screen, and we are going to delete the close view because we no longer need that. Everything is set up. Our cut power for each object, all three of them, is the same. And that is, we're using the 3mm black walnut plywood setting. We are going with 60% power, 20 speed, and 1 pass. Okay. And again, this is on our xTool P2S. So let me switch you to a overview camera here. So we're going to remove this, and let me switch cameras here. And now you can see the P2S, okay, our top view of our bed. So now what we're going to do is we're simply going to go into our software. We're going to press process since we have everything already set up. I've already pre-measured it. I will quick aim measure it one more time just to be on the safe side. And now we will process start. And here we go. So again, this is cutting out of 3mm walnut, and we're doing just the cutouts on this particular design. There's 3 different dog names built into this, and as I showed you just a minute ago, you can easily create custom dog names or pet names and put them in there. Now this is all going to be a cutout. There's not going to be any engraving on these particular ornaments, but I'm also going to do a backer, as I showed just a minute ago, how to create a backer out of this one graphic in order to give it a little bit different look, and I'll demonstrate that here in just a moment. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll answer them as soon as I get to them. And be sure to check out our Patreon. Again, this file is $5 on our Patreon shop, or if you are a commercial member, you get this file for free. So it's a very versatile file the way I've designed it. You can easily edit it and change it and make it your own. So I don't know how many combinations you can get out of this one file, but I've done at least 8 different combinations, not only with materials, but with names, with backing plates, and so on and so forth. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and this is just kind of a demonstration of that file with the P2S cutting on the black walnut 3mm wood. So our first dog paw is cut. It's moving on to the second. And again, the key to this whole thing, if you're putting words in on the cutout, is you want to make sure the words are connected to the main body somewhere. That way the words just don't fall through. Now, if you're doing a backer, you could just cut out the word or the dog name and then glue it to the top or in the center if you size it small enough to fit inside the center of the paw. So there's yet another, possibility for this file. This P2S 55 watt CO2 laser is cutting through this 3 millimeter walnut plywood pretty quick, pretty clean. We are processing it on the slats that come with the xTool P2S. I also have a honeycomb bed, but just to prevent any flashback, I'm just using the slats for this, and it helps dissipate the smoke as well. So now we're moving on to our third ornament that we have laid out here. And again, just to show you how this is all working here, we're going to go to minimize, and these are 3 ornaments. And again, I've already placed the names in there and welded the names to it, so these are all being cut out. Now on our next cut, we're actually going to take this that we took all these pieces out and just made a backer, and we're going to cut that out of a different piece of wood to show you how this could work on a different design. And we're just going to cut that out of 3 millimeter basswood, and I'm just going to set it to a power of let's go with 60 and 45, and we're going to turn this one off. And now we'll flip back to this because this is almost done. All right. So the cutting is done. The software has just told us that it has completed the cutting. I'm just going to let that fume out a little bit. Let the fan do its job and suck that smoke out. Now the fan has shut off. So now we can raise this up and look at our piece. So I'm going to remove these clips. But before I do that, I'm just going to press on these and make sure that they are in fact cut, which this one looks like it all cut out. So actually I'm just going to grab this out of here, and we can just wiggle this around and get it to pop out. This does cut straight, so it does make it really easy to pop everything out. So there you see that piece is out. And then that piece is out. Get this one out here. So that piece is out. Now you can see there's some little tiny pieces in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my X-Acto and just push them out. So let's go ahead and pop this one out. These things just pop right out. So that's what's nice about the P2S laser, is the fact that it kind of cuts it right out. It's 90-degree cuts, perpendicular to the bed. So you can usually just push those right out. There we go. There, so you just tap it, comes right out. It's out. That one's out. So these little tiny pieces here, I don't know if you can see that, but it did cut it. They're just not popping out. So that's why I'm going to use my X-Acto knife and come over here and get these cut out. So let me remove this last one. Just like so. Again, we're just going to carefully wiggle these around till they're cut. It is cut all the way through. There we go. You just want to be careful when you pop these out because there's a lot of thin pieces on this wood, especially with names and stuff in it. So you just want to be careful when you're pressing on these so you don't press too hard and then break your other pieces. Tap that out. It is cut. Just have to be careful not to break off the name here. It's giving me a little bit of issue, so I may just use the X-Acto knife and try to push it out that way. It is cut. There just may be one little tiny piece that. There we go. So you just got to work it. It's like there might be a tiny piece on this snowflake that's just being stubborn. And if you run into that, it could be multiple things. It could be the wood was a little bit thicker there. Could be that the radius for the cut was just a little too tight. But since it did cut on all the other ones, it makes me think it was more of just the wood that maybe had a little bit thicker spot there or whatnot. So we will pop all these out and we will get our bed cleaned up and continue. So I'm going to cut a backer out for one of these ornaments. We're just going to cut that out of basswood. Now, one thing that is important, I apologize for the sound. It sounds like my landscapers are here. One thing that's important is you see all these wood pieces on the bottom of this bed here. You want to make sure you get those, excuse me, you get those out before you laser again. Okay? Very important because those will start on fire. I'm just going to attach my wood here. Pull this wood down. I'm going to lower my tray and pull my tray out. And just gather up all these little pieces here. And as you can see, there's the pieces cut out from the wood. So you want to make sure you get all those out of there before you laser again, because what will happen is the laser will hit these at the bottom and it could start a fire underneath your project. So you want to get all that out. And I have just a little trash bag here. And that way I can just get it all out. And we're going to put our tray back in. Just like so. Make sure it's straight and level. And now we're ready to cut our next project. So let me hop over back here to video. There you go. So as you can see, these cut out really clean, minus these little pieces here. And like I said, you just take an X-Acto knife or a utility knife or a vinyl pick, and you should be able to pop those right out. So see, there you go. Perfect. Now I got these little wood pieces all over my computer. But I wanted to show you on camera what that looked like. So let me grab these here. Get them out of here. So now what we're doing is we're taking this and we're just popping this out. Just like so. And the same with the other little pieces. And you can see them kind of pop through here. Boom. Some of them might be a little stubborn, but just keep working them. You can also try to pop them through from the other side. There we go. That worked. That worked a little bit better. And there we go. So there's that one finished. Okay. Again, we got these wood pieces in my keyboard. Oh well. Get these out of here. There we go. And the final one, this is the one that was really giving us issues on this piece here. So we're just going to pop this out real quick. And then we can move on to our next backing plate. Now, most of the time, these will fall just directly through. When you do process on the slats, sometimes it'll get stuck on the slat, but that's really not an issue. It's still cutting. It's just they're not able to fall all the way through. So don't worry about that. Just take it slow. And like I said, my settings for this, I believe, was 60% power and 20% speed on the 55-watt P2S. This last one's really giving me some issues here. But it is cut. It's just getting that piece out of there. Preferably without stabbing myself with a razor blade. Let's see if I can grab it. Just ever so slightly stuck in there. It's working itself loose, so there we go. All right, so now we just got this big piece left. And like I said, that one is a little bit more fragile because it is connected to the letters. So you just want to kind of work it a little bit. It looks like there might be one little area where it didn't cut. That's where you get your X-Acto knife and you just kind of poke it or run it around the area. It might have just been a little bit thicker wood right there. See how this, see if you can see the back. Right here is what I'm talking about. It's just kind of holding everything in there. So we're just kind of working it, getting our X-Acto down in there. And it will pop out, believe it or not. Just takes some finagling. Hey, Gap. Good to see you, buddy. Working on trying to get this big piece out of here. This one's causing me a little bit of headache, but we will get it. I should have brought my other X-Acto down instead of this utility knife, but we'll get it. I may have to go get my other utility knife just to get that out. Oh, here it comes. Maybe. Thought I had it. It's just one little tiny piece of wood that's holding that whole thing in. It's one little splinter. Just didn't quite get it cut. And you will have that sometimes, just based on wood thickness and everything else. Well, I'm gonna have to go get a different X-Acto. It's right there. There we go. Let's see if that did it. Or did something disconnect? It's just that one little piece. Let's see if I push it from the back, if it will release. Just that one tiny little piece there. I'm just trying to be careful with it so I don't break the entire snowflake part off. I'm just wiggling that around in there. Man, it is just right there. It's right there, Bob. Come on, Bobby. You can do it. Oh, thought I had it there for a second. It's just not wanting to let go. It's kind of like an ex-girlfriend. It's not wanting to let go. All right. Let's see here. Let's see if we can. Try not to cut my finger off on YouTube. Oh, we're so close. So close. Hey, Brett. Got one little piece. There we go. Woo! That baby was in there tighter than I don't know what. Probably can't say it on YouTube. Garage is too clean and organized for you being any work outside. I see that bar is a mess, though. The bar? What bar? I don't know what you're talking about. So there, see, we got it out. Woohoo! Success. So just a little bit of finagling. So now what we're going to do the bar inside. Oh, inside the laser? Who names their dog Finagling? It's Finnegan. Well, how can you see the bar inside the house? I don't have a camera in there. I think Brett's smoking something. It's Finnegan. Yeah, and I do have to go clean the bar inside the house because we're having a New Year's Eve party, and you know, people need a place to drink, so I do have to do that. These jokes are all free of charge. Tip your waitress, everyone. Yeah, exactly. Free of charge. All right, so sorry about that little issue there. Your buddies like to be silly during your streams. Yes, they do. Well, I like to be silly during your streams, so it's only fair. It's only fair. So, all right. So we got these cut out, and this is 3mm walnut. And like I said, this file that I've designed and placed on our Patreon. So if you are a Patreon subscriber, you get it for free. If you're not, it's $5. And again, the file that you get will look like this, the black area, and then you can edit it to put in a name. You can also create a backer plate, which is what we're going to use right now. And we're going to create a backer plate for one of these. And this is the exact same size. We are cutting it out of basswood this time. So let me go to a quick measure. And let's see, thinner than. So let's refresh the background. Must have hit it on a spot that it didn't like. Aim to measure. Hang on, what's Brett saying? Turn off camera view if you want the design to stand out more. Yeah, I can turn that off. I'm just showing the way that it works. So we're not using this one, so I'm just going to drag it down. I've turned it off, and we're going to use this one just as a backer plate. And again, I'm going to drag this up here as tight as I can. I'm going to move in for the close shot, and that way we can see how close we are to the edge. And it looks like we can get a little bit closer. So I'm going to bump this over with the arrow keys and bump it up with the arrow keys so we use as much wood real estate as possible. And we should be good there. We have our deal set to output, cut, 60% power, 45 speed, 1 pass. And we're just going to process it. And it says the base plate is not installed properly. So make sure that and it is not installed properly. So that is why. There we go. Now it's installed properly. So we're just going to go to process, start, and let me switch your cameras back over here. So let's remove this. Take this to our overhead cam. Overhead cam. And here we go. Quick and easy. So let that smoke dissipate a bit. Right there it is. Quick and easy. So we'll lower this back down. And we'll come back over here. So that is our back plate. So since it is the same size, when you line it up, there will be a slight offset because I did offset it just slightly, but you can see how now you have a back plate. Okay. And that will marry up to any of these that we just cut. So that gives you a little bit different definition, a little bit more of a 3D look with the back plate. Now you can cut that back plate out of acrylic, you can cut it out of wood, you know, any material, leather. So it just gives you a little bit different angle. Again, you could take out, instead of cutting the words, you could glue this to this back plate. And once you have it all lined up and centered, just engrave the words. So you could do it that way. So this one file gives you several different ways of processing it. Okay. So, and yes, I know I had that backwards. There you go. For those that are challenged in the mirror version. So the back plate does give it kind of a nice little offset. But which do you like better? With the back plate or without the back plate? Let me know in the comments. Now you could also cut a back plate out of acrylic. I don't have one that is cut out of acrylic, but just to kind of give you an idea, let's see if I can, you know, you can have an acrylic plate behind there if you wanted to, and then engrave the name behind it. So there's several different ways you can take this one file and make something, you know, pretty cool. Brett says, do them with the back if it is for someone, but if you need to pump out a lot, no back plate. Yep. See, there you go. And like I said, you could even make it to where this doesn't have a name in it and just glue this to the back plate and then engrave the name right here. So there's several different ways you could do it. So Brett says we need to cut another backer. So let's do that here. We're going to add our backer back to the stage. And we're going to refresh our background camera. Get rid of this close shot. Okay. And let's see, do I have another piece on here that I can put? Yep, right there. Let's delete this one so we don't see it. Let's bring our close-up cam in here. Come on. Hit the wrong button. They need to make keyboard shortcuts. Like C for cut or Shift C for close shot, something like that. All right, so we're going to zoom in here to this close shot. I do not want to hit my deal here. So I'm just going to get it close. Probably about like so. And then we're going to delete the close cam, refresh the background, and I'm going to auto measure just for giggles one more time. And again, we're cutting at 60% power, 45 speed, one pass. Oh, wait a minute. I think I saw something on the camera here I didn't like. Let me go back to close shot. See on this, I think this is the fisheye. If you see right here, this line is going over my little clip. So I have two options. I can do a close shot and see if it's really on the clip or not, which according to that it is not. Or I could simply move the clip down. But I'm going to trust the camera and start. And let's go back here to our main cam, or overhead cam, I should say. And let's hit start. Quick and easy, just like that. There we go. So now I'm just going to remove my clips. Get this piece out of here. And we're going to grab our clips and our little pieces that fell. I got my clip stuck here. There we go. Make sure there's no little pieces in here. There we go. Wash this off a little bit. It's going to be time to clean this laser here for too long. As you can see, I got some sap from the cutting of the wood. Gives you kind of a better view of it, maybe. You can sort of see the stains on it. Some of these are starting to rust a little bit because the laser hit them, but it is what it is. You just want to get that sap off there. Just wash it with Dawn dish soap. Get the sap off of it to make sure that the sap doesn't catch fire underneath the material. So now we'll switch cams back here. Boom, boom. There I am. All right, so Brett's idea. So I'm going to glue these together for these two. And then I'm not going to do one for Finnegan. So, yep, you can trust a close shot. The back piece is a nice touch, looks good. Yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, something I was basically showing off the file. So, you know, the file doesn't come with the name, obviously. You can type in your own name. But I was able to go in and edit the file directly in SCS, create the back plate, and quickly go from one design to design two. I could go in and I could remove the name, or if there wasn't a name, you could engrave the name directly on the back plate. So there's several different ways you can use this file. And that's basically what I was wanting to show was the versatility of this file that I've designed in order to create some quick and easy ornaments with your xTool P2S, P2, S1, D1, any of the gantry style lasers. Technically, you could do this with the Galvo lasers like the F1 or the F1 Ultra. The issue you're going to run into is that those lasers do not cut straight up and down like gantry styles. So it will have an edge to it. If that doesn't bother you, then it will work. Getting the little pieces out may be more of a challenge, especially in these snowflake areas. You can see there. With a Galvo style laser, that'll probably be more problematic than with a gantry style, but give it a shot. So let's see here. What do we want to do next? I think we're going to glue these on. Now, most people would probably say you need to use wood glue, Gorilla Glue, whatever. I think I'm just going to use some Gorilla Gel. Shake this up a little bit. So I think that's just what I'm going to use. And I'm just going to put a couple dabs on the back pieces here and line them up. So I can show you here, hopefully. If my camera will cooperate. Let me tighten this back up here. There we go. So we're just going to take our Gorilla Glue. I hope there's some left in here. And we're just going to dab it. There might not be any left in here. Oh, there's some. There's some. Just going to dab it around the corners, the bigger areas, maybe a little bit on the name. Like so. Try not to glue my fingers together. And then we just place it right on where we want it. And drag it down just slightly. Press it. Take my X-Acto knife and scrape off any excess glue, even though it dries clear. There you go. Just like so. Again, you could probably use wood glue. I'm just doing this as a quick demo. So this glue will bond the two pieces of wood together. Probably not as good as wood glue does, but it will work. Line it up. Whoop. You do have at least a couple seconds before this bonds. Yeah, that looks good. There you go. Pretty quick and easy. Like I said, I probably won't do a backer for the Finnegan. Just because that's my dog and it doesn't really matter. But let's get you back to me. Let me loosen up my camera here. There we go. That's it. So loving the P2S so far. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down, but I also want to show you something else I picked up. And I got this from Etsy. This is a custom-made padded cover that is built for the P2 and P2S. It does have a soft padding on the inside, like a velvet padding. And it does have Velcro on here. So you can put it around your exhaust pipe. See, there's a hole there. So if you want to get real intricate with it, you can put it on there. But I use that just because I have my machine in the garage, and you just slide it right over the top, and it helps keep the dust off. Kind of like a barbecue cover or something like that, but obviously nicer quality. I found this on Etsy. I believe it was, I think with tax and shipping, it was like $95, something like that. But like I said, since my machine is in the garage, it just gives me that little peace of mind that it's covered, you know, it's protected to an extent. And let me show you kind of what this looks like on it here. Let me loosen up my camera. So there it is. So that's it. That's all I got for today. Again, you can go to the Patreon site and pick up this file for $5, or you can subscribe to our Patreon and you get the file for free. So if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat and I will get to them before we get out of here, because I have a party I got to go to in about an hour. So I wanted to get these done for the party as gifts. So very quickly, was just wanting to hop on here and do that. The tables, somebody has asked about the tables. So the tables I have are Costco. The brand is Costco, not the store. You get these at Home Depot. These are rolling tables, and they fold up. So let me pull my camera down here. Let's see here, about like so. Okay, so they have little handles on them at your front. You have a little latch right here, and then you just fold it out. When you're done with it, pull it back up, push it together. There's a little lock bar that goes down, and then you just wheel it to where you want. Put the wheel caster locks on, and you're done. So I use that. I have 3 of these tables. 2 of them have the middle shelf, and it can hold up to 700 pounds. The other one is where my computer is on right now, and that will hold up to 400 pounds, but it does not have a center shelf. So that's something to kind of keep in mind when you're looking at these. I think the one without the shelf is like $207 on Home Depot, and the ones with the shelves are $265-ish on the Home Depot website. Real easy to put together. You literally put the legs together. You put the bumper stops. You slide those down in there, and you're done. So maybe from unboxing to usable table, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on your level of putting stuff together. Real easy, real simple. Highly recommend them. That's what my P2S is sitting on, as well as some of my other materials here. They're great little tables, and I like the fact that they're mobile and they can move around. And thank you to Brett at Collecting of Cool for turning me on to those tables. So I definitely appreciate that. Let me adjust my camera here so you're not looking at my belly button. Woo! There we go. There's nothing to see down there anyway. So that's all I got for today, guys. I appreciate you tuning in, and another successful workshop for Utini Designs. We didn't set anything on fire. We didn't break anything, so that's always a good day in my book. Yeah, Gap, have a good one, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. So thank you all very much for watching. And if you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook, Utini Designs. Hit me up on Patreon, Utini Designs, Instagram, Utini Designs, YouTube, Utini Designs. So y'all have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time.